happy little games, punk. Hello everybody, Batman QC back once again for the 6th installment on the history of Batman Returns. We are almost at the end of our epic journey, so hang in there because the end is in sight. Today though, we are checking out something completely different in terms of every other game we've seen so far. So sit back and relax and enjoy the history of Batman Returns for MS-DOS. In late 1991, Konami had wanted to bring a Batman Returns game to the home PC market but didn't think a fast-paced beat-em-up would be feasible. They had been dipping their toes with arcade conversions for MS-DOS, with some of them being well done, such as The Simpsons Arcade, and others not so well done, such as Contra, which was super queefy. Point-and-click adventures were very popular at the time, and some of my earliest memories on the Commodore 64 were of Maniac Mansion, and later on, The Secret of Monkey Island. So what exactly are point-and-click adventures? They're basically games where you control the player through a point-and-click interface using either a mouse or a joystick. You interact with the world around you, including characters, objects, and more. A lot of times, these would include cutscenes to help flesh out the story and make it seem like a virtual movie you are participating in. Konami had wanted to create something similar to The Secret of Monkey Island, but instead wanted to tap into the rich story of Batman Returns and create a sprawling adventure in which you actually feel as if you were the world's greatest detective. Park Place were enlisted to design the game, closely mirroring the events of the 1992 blockbuster.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Batman Returns, the greatest new cereal Gotham City has ever known. Now it's marshmallow and chocolate flavored. With the amazing new Batmobile and incredible new villains. Catwoman. The Penguin. It's deliciously crunchy chocolate flavored cereal and great marshmallow shapes. The action-packed cereal that's part of this complete breakfast. Batman Returns. There's never been a cereal like it.
Batman Returns was released for MS-DOS in late 1992. Shipping on 7 whopping floppy disks, the game sees you step into the boots of Batman, in which you have to contend with the Red Triangle Circus Gang who are taking over Gotham City. It's up to you to lay the smackdown on those wacky circus freaks, all the while avoiding the advances of a mysterious feline combatant and avoiding a mysterious penguin-like creature. The game takes place across 9 days, in which you have to gather enough evidence thwarting the Penguin's goal of becoming mayor of Gotham City. You have 12 hours each day to go on patrol as Batman from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The game opens up with you in the Batcave with a few options at your disposal. You have the massive Batcomputer, the vault where all of the Batsuits are kept, the garage, and Wayne Manor, which is where you go to sleep at the end of each day. There are 3 suits available in the Batcave, along with your utility belt, which you have to load up every time you go out. Each suit has an offensive and defensive capability measurement, and I really couldn't tell the difference between the 3 suits. As far as your utility belt is concerned, there are 8 slots available and 10 items to choose from, so choose wisely, because if you don't have the right weapon for a fight, you are out of luck. Some of Batman's wonderful toys at your disposal include the grappling hook, gauntlet, bat rope, lockpick, batarang, bolo batarang, sonic batarang, smoke bomb, knockout gas, and the scanner. There is quite a bit of trial and error when it comes to this game, so it's possible to go out on patrol with an empty utility belt, so make sure you load up. Your information superhighway is the Batcomputer, where you can watch news briefs giving you tips on where to go, enter, view, and extrapolate evidence. You can also watch videotapes you've collected as evidence, as well as a vast database of people Batman has kept his eye on. Once you've watched your daily news brief, it's off to the garage and into the Batmobile to go out on patrol. Inside the Batmobile, there are a couple of different options you can choose. The most glaring and tempting one is the eject button, but I wouldn't hit that if I were you. If you feel the need to, though, Batman will eject from the Batmobile, causing it to crash into the crowd, essentially ending your game. The other option is to pull up a map of Gotham City in which you can pick where to go. Once you get to your desired location, you may encounter one of the Red Circus Triangle Gang. On your utility belt, you will see Easy, Normal, or Fierce, which is the fighting style you will use against these dastardly villains. Also on the utility belt are the various weapons you loaded in the Batcave. You don't have physical control over your Batman character, only the type of attack he proceeds to use, whether it be a batarang, fisticuffs, or a smoke bomb. Watch your defensive capability of the suit, because if it drops too low, you could die and it's game over. Thankfully, you can save your game back at the Batcave, so make sure you do so, and do so often. After kicking the tar out of certain clowns, you have the option of interrogating them. You have 3 questions: an explanation, his leader, or identification. The bad thing is, when interrogating a single thug, you only get 1 question and then they run away, so after defeating the next thug, you ask a different question. This all pertains to the story as it unfolds before your eyes. Evidence can be found throughout Gotham City that needs to be collected, scanned, and viewed back at the Batcave before it's useful. Speaking of Gotham City, there are various recognizable locations you will encounter, such as Shrek's department store, Arctic World, Rooftops of Gotham, the Penguin's office, Max Shrek's office, Selena Kyle's apartment, the streets of Gotham, and a whole lot more. Some of the events appear to be timed, as there is a lot of rinse and repeating used throughout the game. You may enter a location and nothing will happen, although if you go back to that same location, it will trigger an event in which you fight a thug, and eventually interrogation, which furthers along the story. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of trial and error involved, with even the instruction manual not being that clear on what you need to do aside from stopping the Red Circus Triangle Gang. It can get a bit frustrating, especially early on, but thankfully there are guides online in case you get stuck. The game uses a nice blend of rotoscoping sprites as well as digitized stills from the movie that were transformed into pixel art. Considering this used a standard 256 color VGA graphics mode, a straight up image from the movie would have been fine, but the extra effort put into the artwork really stands out and holds up well even though the game is 30 years old. The character sprites are large and detailed with an excellent use of color. The close-up of the character portraits look really good, especially in the interrogation scenes and the videotape sections. We even get to see Max Shrek, and for the first time in a Batman Returns video game, Commissioner Gordon and Alfred. There are a few neat little touches in the game, such as the way Batman gets across the various rooftops, such as walking across a wire, using the bat rope, using the bat bolo, or jumping with his cape extended down to the streets below. The Sound Blaster and ad-lib cars are supported in the game, which does include Danny Elfman's iconic Batman theme, and it sounds great. The ending of the game perfectly recreates what happens on screen, although it does go one step further with a few different endings available. A bad ending sees the Penguin successfully run for mayor and Batman being distraught over his failure. Another bad ending sees the Penguin have his vengeance on Gotham after failing to become the mayor. You also get the ending from the movie in which Catwoman takes care of Max Schreck. And the best ending, where Batman and Catwoman come together and retreat to Wayne Manor to live out their days as the Bat, the Cat, and the Alfred. So why did people hate on this game when it first came out? Well, in my opinion, they tried to take after Monkey Island and previous point-and-click adventures, but it just wasn't quite the same caliber. It's also not an action game, and when you think of Batman, it's mostly action that you think of. Repetition does tend to set in rather quickly, and with the timed events, frustration sets in as well. Similar to me telling myself no after the 5th plate at Golden Corral. The time limit is also a factor, with only 9 days and 12 of those hours each day to go on patrol. So is Batman Returns a bad game for the PC? I don't think so. They tried something new, and rather than give us a standard scrolling, subpar, crappy, slappy beat-em-up that wasn't going to work on the machine they were designing it for, they tried something different and should be applauded. It's more of a Batman simulator than a Batman game, but I kind of enjoyed it. They stuck to the source material and even expanded upon it. If you like point-and-click adventures and ever wanted to step into the boots of Batman, then you should definitely check this out. Thank you, everybody, for watching Part 6 of the history of Batman Returns. We have one episode left, which will be dropping in a few days, so come on back if you want to see how the story unfolds. Same Pat time, same Pat channel. If you enjoyed this content or any of my content, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you would like to support me on Patreon, please click the link below. Thank you, Bat fans, for watching.